Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to News 3 Now. Live at 4, we have an exciting show today.
Yes, we do. The front parking lot, we're turning into a little bit of a racetrack this afternoon.
Yes, the Mini Cooper racing team is here, and Harvey Briggs will be along as well, and we're going to have a little preview of what's going to happen at Elkhart Lake this weekend.
Yeah, I can't wait to
America.
see this. We're going outside in just a little while, and Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is here as well with a great new recipe to try with the kids for dinner tonight.
Yeah, stir fry.
Yeah.
All right, here's what's making news on this Tuesday. A tragic hunting accident in Dodge County involving two brothers leaves one of them dead.
A plan unveiled at the state capitol today would help offset out-of-pocket costs for those who care for elderly or disabled loved ones.
And fireworks on Capitol Hill as a former presidential aide has words with the House Judiciary Committee looking into impeachment proceedings.
Let's take a look outside today. Is it hot enough for you?
Oh, my gosh. What is it? Middle of July?
It is still summer, and look at this. Everybody on the Capitol Square.
Have a little picnic at lunch?
We have to savor these days. You can't complain. You have to just be grateful for them because it will change.
Summer holds on. Dana Fulton is in the backyard with the steamy details. Dana.
It is very summer-like outside right now. Thankfully, it doesn't feel too bad as long as you know that it's going to be a little warm. We have some clouds still hanging on, high thin clouds in our visible cloud track you can see. Still holding on to southern Wisconsin for parts. Other areas, though, enjoying quite a bit of sunshine right now. We're in the upper 70s throughout Dane County, 81 in Janesville right now, 85 in La Crosse. So everyone a little bit above average for this afternoon. We're going to stay a little warm heading overnight, also very mild, I should say. Our dew points are in the mid-60s, close to 70 for some areas, which means you'll notice the humidity, but that doesn't mean we have any rain showers on the way tonight. Most of Wednesday will stay dry. But our next rain chance, of course, will start to move in late Wednesday night into Thursday. Mild overnight with some fog likely tomorrow morning. Another warm and humid afternoon, not just for Wednesday, but for the rest of the week. And again, that next rain chance will be coming in heading into Thursday. We'll take a closer look at your full 10-day in just a few minutes. Right now, we do have a look at the Beltline right at Park Street. Both east and westbound moving along, though eastbound starting to get a little slow. Always seems to happen for the left lane first, and then we watch it slide on over. Throughout Dane County, your drive should be quite smooth. Those speeds on the eastbound side down to about 25 miles per hour, but again, still moving along on the westbound side, no hiccups. Around Prairie du Sac and Sauk City, no delays. All the way up through Baraboo, actually, should be a smooth drive this evening. 27 minutes to get from Janesville to the Beltline, 17 from Sauk City to Middleton, and from Sun Prairie to downtown. So our drive for both areas a little longer than usual. But again, a pretty nice evening. Not really feeling like fall just yet, but we have a few more days before we officially hit fall.
All right, we'll see you in a few minutes, Dana. Thank you.
Thank you, Dana. First at 4, a 65-year-old is dead following a squirrel hunting incident this morning near the Dodge County community of Reeseville. Authorities
tell us they said the victim was shot by his 61-year-old brother. The two were out hunting squirrels near Mud Lake Road. The 61-year-old told authorities he saw movement and shot the victim.
Is we always want to treat it as if it is the worst possible incident, and we can always back it off later. So anytime we have a death investigation, which that's what it is, we're going to treat it as though it potentially could be a homicide. I'm not saying that it is, because it very well may not be.
The DNR is conducting the investigation.
Monona police continue to investigate a fatal crash in that community last night. We do know that it was a 21-year-old that drove into a pole just before 7:30 on Winnequa Road last night, northeast of Fireman's Park. The accident caused power outages, which lasted into this morning. Madison Gas and Electric restored power to the entire residential area just before 7 a.m. Officials have not released the name of the victim, but he was the only person in the car. The Monona Fire Department says speed was likely a factor. The Madison City Council will vote tonight on a resolution opposing the Air Force's plans to base F-35 jets in Madison. This afternoon, both Congressman Mark Pocan and Madison Mayor Satya Rose Conway asked the Air Force to make further noise tests on the impact the planes would have on the city's northeast side. Pocan asked that the test be conducted before the September 27th deadline of public comments on an environmental impact study. Two bills proposed at the Capitol would give a financial boost to those in Wisconsin caring for their loved ones. Supporters say it could offset out-of-pocket costs for those who care for elderly or disabled loved ones. Eric Franke is here in the studio now with more details. Eric?
That's right, Susan and Mark. According to the lawmakers behind this bill, nearly 600,000 people in Wisconsin serve elderly or disabled loved ones at home as their primary source of long-term care. These bills would include tax credits to cover expenses, including home improvements needed for mobility or safety, as well as legal or financial services or a personal care attendant. Those caregivers spend a combined 538 million hours of unpaid care for loved ones, spending an average of $7,000 per year out of their own pockets on costs related to caregiving.
How can we go wrong with these two wonderful bills? Well-trained caregivers means less stress, increased confidence, and that their family members and patients across our state can feel confident that they will get the care they need to successfully transition back home after a hospitalization.
AARP unveiled the results of a new survey that shows 89% of registered voters in Wisconsin over 40 support a state income tax credit to help offset caregiving expenses. At the conclusion of that press event, nearly 100 members of AARP went room to room at the Capitol asking lawmakers if they would join the measure as co-sponsors. The Wisconsin Hospital Association, however, is not on board, saying it would create more regulatory burden for hospitals and would do little to improve patient care. Mark and Susan?
All right, Eric Franke, thank you.
You're welcome.
Republican Wisconsin Senate Majority Leader Scott Fitzgerald is running for Congress to succeed retiring longtime Congressman Jim Sensenbrenner. Fitzgerald announced his bid at a news conference this afternoon. He is the first Republican to enter the race. His newly launched campaign website prominently features a picture of Fitzgerald next to President Trump, who is giving a thumbs up. Governor Tony Evers toured the state today, saying he's placing more than 60 new assistant prosecutors in multiple Wisconsin counties with money he included in the state budget funds. Evers announced the positions would be spread out across 56 counties. Milwaukee and Brown counties will each get 3 new positions. Dane County will get 1.5 positions.
President Trump's former campaign manager got into testy exchanges during testimony today before the House Judiciary Committee. The White House blocked 2 other witnesses from joining Corey Lewandowski at the witness table. The committee's top Democrat called it a dangerous assertion of executive privilege. Nicole Killian is on Capitol Hill with more.
Do you swear or affirm under penalty of perjury?
Former Trump campaign manager Corey Lewandowski's solo appearance before the House Judiciary Committee got off to a rocky start.
You met alone in the Oval Office with the president.
Is there a book and page number you can reference me to, please? Could you read the exact language of the report, sir? I don't have it available to me.
I don't think I need to do that, and I have limited time.
Lewandowski repeatedly refused to answer some Democrats' questions.
The White House has directed I not disclose the substance of any discussions with the president.
Lawmakers pressed Lewandowski about whether President Trump directed him to tell then-Attorney General Jeff Sessions to limit the Mueller probe.
I recognize that the privilege is not mine, but I've been asked by the White House to... Congressman, I'd be happy to answer your question, or you can just have a conversation by yourself.
This is a House Judiciary, not a House party.
This is the committee's first hearing investigating possible obstruction of justice and abuse of power by the president since its party line vote last week formalizing an impeachment inquiry.
This committee has become the search party for impeachment.
Republicans blasted the proceedings and even brought up a motion to call them off.
Point of order has got to be recognized.
Not in the middle of...
Yes, it does. Since the chairman is not following the House rules, I move to adjourn.
Despite a committee subpoena, the White House counsel blocked former administration officials Rick Dearborn and Rob Porter from joining Lewandowski at the witness table, citing separation of powers.
This is a cover-up, plain and simple.
Judiciary Chairman Gerald Nadler said the committee is exploring all available options to enforce those subpoenas. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
And President Trump tweeted during the hearing, quote, "Such a beautiful opening statement by Corey Lewandowski. Thank you, Corey."
President Trump arrived in the San Francisco Bay Area for the first time since his election for a Silicon Valley fundraiser. A few hundred protests greeted the president's motorcade while on the way to the fundraiser. The event is being held in the mansion of Scott McNeely, a co-founder of Sun Microsystems. Tickets for the invitees reportedly cost anywhere from $1,000 per person to $100,000 per couple. The White House took extraordinary steps to keep the details of the president's visit under wraps in one of the most liberal regions of the country. In the 2016 presidential election, 75% of Bay Area residents voted for Hillary Clinton, 19% voted for President Trump.
Israelis are voting in an unprecedented repeat election. They're deciding whether Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu stays in power. Netanyahu's main rival is retired military chief Benny Gantz. The two tied in April's election, which sent Israelis back to the polls, that is. Netanyahu is the country's longest-serving prime minister, but he is facing allegations of bribery and corruption. U.S. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Defense Secretary Mark Esper have publicly blamed Iran for a strike on Saudi oil facilities. But President Trump has stopped short of naming Iran as the culprit in the attack. The president says he wants to be 100% sure about who is responsible for an attack on Saudi Arabian oil facilities before deciding how to respond. According to a senior official, the U.S. has identified the locations in Iran where more than 20 drones and cruise missiles were launched.
They feel they're going to make a statement fairly soon, but they also know something that most people don't know as to where it came from, who did it, and we'll be able to find that out, figure that out very quickly. We pretty much already know.
For months, we have been telling the administration that their campaign of blind escalation with Iran was going to get this country into a war of choice, and we are dangerously on the precipice of that conflict.
Pompeo will go to the Middle East to work with the Saudis in inspections on what information about the attacks can be declassified.
Legendary journalist Cokie Roberts passed away today after a battle with breast cancer. Roberts worked for ABC News for decades, where she covered U.S. and world politics. During her 40-year career, she won 3 Emmys, published bestsellers, and reported on both television and radio. Cokie Roberts was 75 years old. Merriam-Webster announced today that it has added the non-binary pronoun they to its dictionary.
It's now listed as one of the 4 definitions of the word. The dictionary defines they as used to refer to a single person whose gender identity is non-binary. I guess the music's going. We got to get going.
Keep it moving.
Still coming for you. You're looking for a new idea for dinner? How about stir fry?
Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is here tonight with a couple of great recipes you might want to try. We'll have them for you when Live at 4 continues.
It's like the Oscars. The music's going. We got to go.
You're watching News 3 Now, live at 4.
Well, it sure feels like summer right now out on the patio. The Northern Hemisphere once again suffered through a sweltering summer season.
The northern half of the globe just had its warmest June to August time period on record again. Meteorologist Dave Caulfield is out on the patio with where southern Wisconsin's summer ranks. Dave, how'd we do?
Well, it kind of went against the trend there, Susan. Over the last 5 years, the Northern Hemisphere has had its warmest 5 meteorological summers. That's from June to August. But as I just mentioned, Wisconsin really didn't follow suit, if you will, with this summer being pretty middle of the road. So summer 2019 broke temperature records without the presence of a strong El Nino event in the Pacific Ocean. That's usually a driving force behind a boost in thermometer readings. Paris, France, set an all-time hottest temperature record in July, while Anchorage, Alaska, saw an unprecedented heat wave where temperatures hit 90 degrees for the first time in history. Across southern Wisconsin, again, a much different story. The average temperature in Madison from June through August was 70.1 degrees, which is tied for 68th place all time. So very middle of the road. But as we've been talking about, summer is trying to get a photo finish in, as you will, with temperatures in the low 80s and plenty of humidity to go around into this weekend. So maybe we'll change those numbers before the season is up.
Yeah, June was very cool. I think maybe that brought the average down some.
Yeah, I think so. I think that we had a cool spring, and that trend really continued. A lot of people saying, you know, where is summer, except for a couple of weeks in there, of course.
And pretty soon we'll be asking you about winter.
Yeah, exactly.
What can we expect for winter?
That's the way it goes.
Yeah.
All right, Dave, thank you.
Thank you, Dave.
Stocks closed modestly higher on Wall Street. The Dow Industrials up 33 points. The NASDAQ gaining 32. The S&P 500 up 7. Well, steak stir fry is perfect for this time of year.
It's very quick and easy, and it incorporates a lot of your garden produce, which is popping right now. Angie Horkin from the Wisconsin Beef Council is here. Hi, Angie.
Hello.
Smells good, looks good.
Yeah, thank you.
What are we cooking up?
Well, I had a couple more stir fries.
We had 2 at noon.
We had 2 at noon, right? So it's totally stir fry day today. But stir fries are fun because they're so fast.
And kids can help?
And kids can help.
Is there a secret to frying it?
Yeah, do your beef in batches. So, and both these recipes use top sirloin steak, and I like using that for stir fries because it's tender, it's economical, and when you go to the store to buy a top sirloin, it's usually right around a pound, and that's what all of our stir fry recipes call for, is a pound of steak, and then you've got 4 perfect servings there. So if you're watching your serving size, it's a great way to monitor.
So slice it up.
Slice it up, brown it in a really nice hot wok pan or just a skillet with a little bit of oil. Do it in batches so it doesn't steam. It gets a nice brown caramelization. I've already got this pound done, and then I went ahead. Now this recipe is kind of Italian flavored stir fry, so different. So we're using potato gnocchi, so little dumplings.
Instead of rice?
Instead of
what
rice.
What are these?
Try one. I already cooked them. Gnocchi? Little potato dumplings. They're shelf-stable right from the supermarket. I put them in the oil first and kind of warmed them up, got them almost probably cooked through, and then I'm going to put them back in.
Where do you find them in the store?
Right by the pasta.
Right in the pasta section.
Okay.
Yeah. So put these in with the steak. So that took a couple minutes, like 4 to 6 minutes. Then do your steak, and then I also went ahead and sautéed up 1 red onion and 2. It calls for 2 small zucchini, which is kind of funny this time of year.
Yeah, they're this big.
So 2 small zucchini or the equivalent.
Okay.
So whatever you have.
Yeah, this is zucchini time.
Yep, sauteed that up a little bit. 101 ways to make zucchini. And then fresh basil, about a 1/4 cup. Crushed red pepper.
Give it a little spice.
Yep, and the garlic. And then 3 tablespoons of the sun-dried tomatoes. So these are already julienne cut, and they're packed in oil. And that's kind of it. We're not going to add like a sauce or anything. The tomatoes, the garlic, the veggies are the sauce.
That's it?
Yeah. And then feta.
Just
some
top
great
it.
Wisconsin cheese. Put some feta in here because as we're going to stir this up, just heat it through. The feta melt a little bit, let the gnocchi get warmed back up.
And you think of stir fry, you often think of Asian food.
Exactly.
Definitely.
But this has every food group there is represented here. So after practice, the kids come home, they're starving to death. That's a great dinner.
Yeah. Let it simmer at home a couple more minutes, get your veggies softened and get the gnocchi warmed back up. And then you can always serve it with some pine nuts if you'd like. A little
Optional.
fancy, or some toasted
Oh,
walnuts.
that looks
Definitely,
great,
isn't
Angie.
that good?
Yeah.
One of my new favorite recipes.
All right, and what's this guy?
So this is Mongolian beef, so a traditional Asian stir fry on a bed of hot rice. So I used top sirloin and then tossed it with some oyster sauce and then some minced garlic, crushed red pepper, and then I put in some edamame and bamboo shoots and water chestnuts. And I found all three of those canned in the Asian aisle of the supermarket. So that was super easy and super quick. Like 15, 20 minutes and you're done.
What's the seasoning on the meat?
Oyster sauce. You can buy that right in the supermarket too. Just toss that in with the steak and your veggies, and literally 15, 20 minutes. Probably takes longer to make the rice unless you make minute rice.
It's a nice flavor, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. It's very good.
And with the water chestnuts, gives you a little crunch. That's nice.
Yeah, so beeftips.com is our Wisconsin Beef Council website, and we've got a link to all of our stir fry recipes this time of the month, and of course these recipes that we featured today.
And going on Facebook?
Facebook,
I can't wait.
Instagram.
I can't wait to try
I can't
that.
wait to. What is it called? What is it called again?
Beef steak gnocchi, zucchini gnocchi.
Ask for it by name.
No, that's a great idea. I've never seen a stir fry like that. That's very creative.
All right, Ange.
Thanks, Ange.
You guys have a great day.
All right, thank you. Can't wait to dig in. Well, coming up tonight at 5, the story of a rescued piglet.
How Heartland Farm Sanctuary is helping Maxwell recover. Oh, buddy, we'll share his story coming up tonight at 5.
Well, take a look at this. A picturesque motorbike ride takes a terrible turn. Rick Hoggy is lucky to be alive after falling nearly 70 feet down the side of this ledge and landing in the Devil's Punch Bowl in Colorado. After surviving the fall, he now faces another challenge, trying to keep his head above water while wearing lots of heavy motorcycle equipment. Thankfully, he lands close enough to the edge. He's able to grab on and wait for his friend riding with him to help. Rick manages to escape with only minor injuries, but his brand new motorbike, not so lucky.
Dirt bikes don't float.
Where was his GoPro camera? On his helmet?
On his
I think
helmet.
it's on his helmet.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like.
That's a ways down there.
That is a huge drop.
Well, the Devil's Punch Bowl, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
That's true.
But he's okay. That's
He's
good.
okay. That's good news.
Well, here's something that you don't want to see while you're swimming.
Absolutely not. Drone footage shows a large shark swimming very near a surfer on Wherry Beach in New South Wales, Australia. The surfer is seen turning his board to make for the shore as the shark starts to get closer. The surfer heard an alert message from the drone operator blaring out, "Shark, shark, evacuate the water immediately." Made the turn. That's
What do you do?
a little too close for comfort. Shark.
Yeah.
Look at how clear and beautiful that
It's
water is.
beautiful water.
Yeah,
Yes.
at that point, it just looks like a dark shadow, but
And he's okay. Everybody's okay.
Everybody's okay. That's the
All
good
right.
news.
The weather?
The weather
Not so
is
much.
a little warm. It's a little summery. We're still waiting for fall to arrive. Hasn't gotten here yet. We have a few clouds outside right now. Our dew points, thankfully, aren't too bad. But we'll take a closer look at what's ahead for the next few days right after the break. A little summery this afternoon with temperatures yet again above average and those dew points creeping up just a little bit. We have a few clouds in the sky sitting at about 78 in Madison right now. Our dew points are in the mid 60s. There is a bit of a breeze, enough that you'll notice it from the south-southeast, about 10 miles per hour right now. Now the good news, our Doppler track is quiet. No shower chances building in this evening nor tonight. So if you do have any evening plans, all good to go. We're still under control of that high pressure off to the east now, sending more of a southeast breeze. It is a little stronger for us. We have a warm front off to the west that's falling apart as it moves north. So plan on another warm day tomorrow, but that's more because this cold front starts to creep closer. So we have a lot of warm air in front of the cold front. Behind it, we'll see a little bit of a drop in our temperatures before the big cool down for next week. That cold front, though, is going to bring some shower chances starting late on Wednesday night and into Thursday morning. Most of Thursday will stay dry, but we could see some stronger isolated thunderstorms slide through with that line coming in. Overnight, plan on a partly cloudy sky. Tomorrow really won't be bad during the day. Partly cloudy with the breeze again from the southeast. Overnight, rain chances will really start to develop after midnight. That cold front's timing kind of bumping back just a little bit. Notice it's a pretty tight line, so we may see some stronger wind gusts along with that front passing through and some isolated moments of heavy rain, but we really aren't expecting a lot of rain accumulation into Thursday morning. That front bounces to the south and then we'll lift back north heading into Friday and Saturday. Once it crosses back over Saturday and into Sunday, that's when we'll have a little more rain come through and the bigger cool down for the second half of the weekend. Overnight temperatures will yet again stay in the 60s, only falling to the low 60s for our overnight lows. So not only are those afternoon highs 10 degrees above average, but our overnight temperatures also staying about 10 degrees above average. For Wednesday afternoon, we'll be back into the mid to low 80s, a strong breeze coming from the south, and then that rain chance passing through really after midnight and into early Thursday morning. Again, we will have a few isolated, very heavy rainfall spots, but that line passes through pretty quickly. We could have some lingering showers around your morning commute, but most of the showers will be out of here by mid to late morning. And for Thursday afternoon, high temperatures will be in the upper 70s, close to 80 degrees with partly sunny skies later on. Rain chances will likely be close to 1/10 of an inch for most of the area. Not really seeing a lot of heavy rainfall accumulating. That's the good news right now. Temperatures overnight, again, staying in the 60s, so we won't drop too much. Just with all that warm air in place, our temperatures won't be falling. Some fog might develop by tomorrow morning. Otherwise, a partly cloudy sky. We aren't expecting too many dense fog spots, but some patchy fog certainly possible. Tomorrow afternoon, partly sunny. Another warm and a little humid day, about 85 for the high in Madison. Our breeze again coming from the south, anywhere from 8 to 15 miles per hour, so another breezy afternoon and evening. Temperatures are in the 80s now for Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, so we'll continue to see a little bit of a warm up through the rest of the work week. Humid for the next few days. Friday, there is going to be the slight chance for an isolated shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. The concern, of course, with all that moisture and the heat, isolated storms might be possible. The weekend, we're going to have the chance for showers and thunderstorms on Saturday. Once that system finally clears through, there will be a chance for showers and thunderstorms mainly in the morning on Sunday. Though skies will likely stay mostly cloudy during the day, and then temperatures heading into next week should fall back quite a bit and become a little more seasonal in the mid to low 70s for our afternoon highs. And that's really where we should be. The 80s right now, although it hasn't been too bad outside, it is a little above average for folks that are waiting for fall to arrive. It's kind of taking its time to get here.
But look at the end of next week.
Yeah.
High of 65.
Yes. All of a sudden, our low temperatures for tonight become our high temperatures by the end of next week. So again, once temps start to really drop, it seems like it happens so quickly.
It's not that bad out. It's just a little warm.
No, it's just a little warm.
We're going outside for about 20 minutes.
Yeah. You guys will be out there for a second, so we'll see what you think then.
And Saturday's a ways off, but there's a big football game starting at 11 o'clock.
Yes.
We can't really time out that rain
We can't time
yet.
out that rain yet. It's a little too far, but right now it's leaning more towards later in the afternoon, but we'll be keeping a close eye on it, of course, for the football game.
Good stuff. All right, thank you, Dana.
As world leaders come together for next week's landmark United Nations Climate Action Summit, CBS News is digging into the issue.
Hillary Lane has a look at a technique that's being called the future of farming. It uses waste from fish to fertilize crops.
They're going to be harvested. So the freshest, cleanest kale that you probably would have ever encountered.
Kale is growing inside this high school lab in New York City, and they're not using traditional soil and sun. The crops are grown indoors all year round using just fish and water.
There are no pesticides, there are no fungicides, all nice and clean.
It's a sustainable farming technique called aquaponics. In a controlled environment, the waste from the fish provides the nutrients crops need to grow. And in turn, the crops purify the water for the fish.
Is this healthy kale to eat?
This is healthy kale to eat. You could eat it just as is. Probably don't even have to wash it.
Dr. Philson Warner manages Cornell University Cooperative Extension's aquaponics lab. He first began studying this technology 40 years ago, but he says it's picking up steam now as more people are interested in locally sourced food. Also, the world's population is climbing, and this is a way to produce more food in less space. No farmland needed.
Do you see this as the farming of the future?
This is the future.
Whole Foods Market in Brooklyn stocks greens from a local aquaponics operation. Produce coordinator Brandy Brady says the sustainable system is in tune with Whole Foods' mission and reduces both waste and contamination.
It keeps the carbon footprint down, so we're nourishing the planet by reducing the overall waste.
This mini ecosystem requires about 90% less water than traditional crop production. And with the intensifying threat of climate change, that could make aquaponics the wave of the future. Hillary Lane, CBS News, New York.
It's really interesting.
It really is.
And they're doing this locally
Oh,
here,
yeah,
too.
there are quite a few installations.
Experts estimate there are between 800 and 1,200 home aquaponics systems in the U.S.
Well, summer's almost over, but the damage it did to your car's paint could live well into the fall and winter. Your car requires some maintenance with a wash and polish.
Consumer Reports will show us how to buff up and wax to the max when Live at 4 continues.
Well, summer is almost over, but the damage it did to your car could live well onto the fall and winter.
Well, just like your teeth need regular cleaning, your car requires some yearly maintenance as well, with a wash and a polish. Consumer Reports checks out the best ways to wax to the max.
As the summer sun sets and many parts of the country prepare for rain and snow, Consumer Reports car experts say it's the perfect time of year to protect your car's finish.
CR suggests you hand wax your car with the change of every season. Waxing your car on a regular basis helps protect the paint from scratches, tree sap, and bird droppings.
First things first, before you apply the wax, CR says you'll need to wash your car and dry it to get rid of any watermarks.
Then apply a coat of wax to the dried, cool surface. Don't work in direct sunlight because heat can make the wax spread unevenly and clump. Apply the wax in a circular motion, then let it dry and remove it with a microfiber cloth, also in a circular motion.
Want to keep your car shining as long as possible? If you plan on visiting the drive-through car wash, make sure you opt for a brushless one. The brushes in the automatic wash can actually strip some of your wax job. Maybe you're tempted to skip all that elbow grease and opt for a spray-on wax treatment at the car wash. Well, not so fast.
The spray-on treatments at car washes give more of a cosmetic gloss, whereas hand waxing puts on a protective coat that can last for several months.
That's how you buff up on your car maintenance skills with a wax to the max. For News 3 Now, this is Leah Lynchide.
Consumer Report says even the best car waxes that they've tested only last a few months.
So it's best to hand wax your car 3 or 4 times a year, they say?
I don't think I've ever done it.
I don't think I've done that.
I thought with newer cars it wasn't as necessary.
I don't know.
Well, I guess
they're the experts.
Trust Consumer Reports.
All right, when we come back, we're going to race some Mini Coopers right here in our parking lot. Stay with us.
Seems like the Beltline is just a little busier than usual right now. East and westbound are moving. Here's a look right at Park Street, but speeds are down a little bit on the westbound side. Also eastbound, things look okay close to Gammon Road. Speeds a normal spot in the mid to upper 50s, but the closer you get to Fish Hatch, we're down to the 20s. And as far as the Prairie du Sac, Sauk City area, no major delays. All the way up through Baraboo, your drive times, as long as you're avoiding the Beltline, should be usual. If you're on the Beltline, I'd add about 10 more minutes onto your drive. That's a quick look at traffic.
All right, Dana, thank you. Speaking of traffic, ever since the Mini Cooper washed up on these shores in 1959, it has worked its way into the hearts of many driving enthusiasts.
Mini has a long history in motorsports ever since John Cooper unleashed the racing potential of the classic Minis in the 1960s.
And Harvey Briggs is here now with the John Cooper racing team. This is going to be fun.
The News 3 Now Motor Speedway. Welcome,
right.
Harvey.
Here we are. We've got the track car here with the
track car any different than the one you can buy?
The track car is a little different than the one you can buy. The big difference is, as you can see there, the safety equipment. They take out all the interior, they put in the roll cage, the fire extinguishers, a different gas tank, but it's the same engine, the same transmission, the same brakes. Everything that you can buy performance-wise is on that race car.
And who's been driving here?
And driving here has been Louis Pericarpi. He is the owner and director of LAP Motorsports that runs the John Cooper Works Mini Racing team.
Welcome to News 3. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
So people wouldn't think of a front-wheel drive four-cylinder turbo as a race car.
You know, that's interesting because a lot of drivers don't think of a front-wheel drive as a race car. But interesting enough, we are racing one of the biggest classes and with cars that are all rear-wheel drive, and we've won the manufacturers championship last year, and we're winning all the, a lot of races with it. So a front-wheel drive car can be a really good race car.
Tell us a little bit about the races that you do with these cars.
Yeah, we compete against most of the manufacturers, other manufacturers that are in this class. Last year we raced against Porsche and BMW and Audi. This year we're racing against Honda, Subaru, Mazda, and we're doing really well. We're leading the manufacturers championship right now. We're in the chase for the drivers championship. There's all three different makes fighting there. We have 4 races to go. It's going to be really interesting.
Wow. Is it a fun car to drive?
It's a blast. It's awesome. It's so much fun. Yeah. Sometimes Louis gets in the race car himself and runs races just to make sure he keeps his skills sharp, which is fun. He won't be driving this weekend at Road America, unfortunately. He's got some other people there, and it'll be really fun to watch these guys go.
You want to take a couple laps around the Channel 3 Motor Speedway here?
Sounds good. We don't normally do ovals, but, I think we can try an oval backwards here, right?
All right.
Great.
Thank you. Great to meet you.
Yeah.
Who else do we have here?
Well, one of the interesting things about this program is they get the local dealers involved. So Mini has a program called the Service Technician Education, right?
Louis, do you want to drive for us?
Sorry. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. No, and this is Zdravko Milic from Mini, and he runs the program. And over here, we have Keith McGarvey, who is the team leader at Mini of Madison, and who has come out on the weekends to help the race team with these cars. So you should talk to them about how they
actually use local mechanics?
Yeah, so the cars, as you guys mentioned, are so close to what the factory-trained technicians service on a daily basis that it just makes sense for them to come and help out and be a part of the team on a race weekend. And the program was actually born out of necessity our first season when we showed up to Road America. And a lot of racing teams use fly-in technicians, and flights were delayed, canceled, etc. Long story short, we worked with our local dealer network, and Keith came on board along with a few other technicians and helped us get through that race weekend.
Keith, I love the people driving past the station right now are thinking, what is happening over there? So does the interest in the race cars, do you think, translate down into the rest of the Minis that you sell here in Madison?
Of course, Susan. It's much more or less the same car that the customer can buy off the street. It's got the big Brembo brakes, it's got the Recaro seats, it's got the same horsepower. There's not many modifications done to the actual engine itself. So more or less when a customer wants to buy a John Cooper Works, they're more or less buying the race car off the street.
Wow, so the John Cooper Works is a trim level, or how is that different than the regular Mini?
That's the performance level. That's the highest performance level available to many customers.
See, and I've always thought they were so cute and practical, but they can have a whole separate life. Yeah,
little bulldogs.
Yeah.
So what does this race team mean for the brand?
So this race team allows us to keep not just talking about our heritage and our past race wins, but what we're currently doing with the product. And you know, this vehicle and this platform is so well suited for racing. I mean, where other teams have to use maybe multiple engines a season to get through, we literally run a whole season with a regular engine that comes out of a crate, and you put it in the same engine that's in this street car, right?
Really?
Yeah, so we don't do rebuilds or anything crazy like that. So, you know, to answer your question, it just continuing that heritage of, you know, what John Cooper started with the brand and racing, so.
And we've test driven.
Yes, we've driven one. Yeah, we drove we did the mini hybrid, the plug-in hybrid a couple of months ago, the Countryman.
Yes.
And that was, again, you know, it's that sporting and performance end of an all-wheel drive, you know, SUV type vehicle, and they're a lot of fun. You know, people who buy minis, they buy minis because they're minis.
Right.
You know, they're attracted to that.
It's a dedicated ownership base.
Yeah. Most mini owners, they're naming their vehicle. You know, I'm sure Keith could attest to this.
Of course, everybody comes in to get service work done, and we always know the name of the car as well. Like for example, one customer has their car named Rupert. So
that's great.
A lot of them have their names on their car as well. So that's good.
So you really get to know your customer base.
You get to know the customers, and we bring the customers out as well. And whenever we inspect the vehicle and we find anything wrong or recommend repairs, we bring the customer out and we do a walkthrough around the vehicle and that too, and point things out to the customer so they feel like they're at one with their vehicle as well, and they can trust us as well. So.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And you had an event tonight?
That's right. We're going to have the whole race team down at the AC Hotel in downtown Madison from 6:30 to 8:30. We're going to be having a longer discussion about these type of topics. Anyone's welcome to come down and join us. You can ask questions, meet the teams, and you can enter to win 2 tickets to this weekend's race at Road America, plus a hot lap around the track in this car with Lewis behind the wheel.
Wow.
So come on down to the AC Hotel and meet the team, and we'll have a great evening.
Good luck this weekend. Thanks for being with us today. I know this is a lot of work.
Thank you, Keith. Thank you for coming tonight.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
All right.
Great to see you. Thank you very much.
We'll be right back.
Still a little summery outside right now. A few clouds in the sky. Temperature-wise, it is warm today. So if you do have any plans for this evening, Again, reminder that fall isn't quite just here just yet. Looking at our visible cloud track, thankfully it's not too cloudy even off to the north. 80 degrees towards the Dells, 81 in Janesville, about 85 around La Crosse, with those dew points in the mid to upper 60s for most of the area. So enough humidity that you'll notice it. Our Doppler track is going to stay quiet for tonight, but tomorrow night, that's when our next chance for showers is going to come in. Mild overnight and into tomorrow morning with some fog, but our next rain chance develops Wednesday night into Thursday morning. We'll be right back.